been a minute,
It's been a hot minute.
you know, and for all the people who don't know, we out here. This
Yeah.
is Nkandu, your host, and my man Tusa, the
Yes.
brother.
Co-host, we here.
We here.
We're actually here.
Long
in
time.
the making.
Long time in the making. You know, we've been trying to do this for quite a while. And this is BTL show, if you guys don't know. And we just here trying to give a perspective of passionate music lovers, particularly in the hip hop space.
Yeah.
Because really, it's a very bad market when it comes to opinions with hip hop.
Yeah.
So we just here tapped in,
Definitely.
giving our opinions.
Yeah,
And we
100%.
want to thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah. Yeah. So who are you? Who am I?
Oh,
Who are I? So yeah, like I'm Tsang. This is one of my best friends on the whole planet Earth, Mr. Nkandu. We've been, hip hop fans for a very long time. It's one of the main reasons we even speak to each other,
Yeah.
and it's why we even became friends.
Yes,
So
sir.
obviously for the love of this art form
Yeah.
that has, given us endless conversations, arguments, debates,
Arguments.
everything, man. Like,
Yeah, and also I feel at the same time it's a medium that you can express yourself. Storytelling. Go back to African storytelling.
Yeah.
That's the roots. And hip hop has just been our way throughout our whole life of knowing who we are.
yeah,
So many bars, so many quotables that have just helped us get through.
100%.
Jay-Z bars.
Yeah,
You
man.
say-
Everything. Yeah, really, really excited for whatever BTL turns into. But this is episode 1. This is it's like our audio visual diary as well. So
sir.
we can look back at this in 5 years and be like, wow, we aged terribly.
Those
No
glasses.
hairlines.
Yeah.
nothing.
I mean, I'm not looking at hairlines. At least I got this low head, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm not trying to look too crazy with my
Yeah.
physical self.
You look fine.
Keep, black don't crack though.
Yeah.
Black don't crack.
We know we don't.
So in trying to start this whole thing, we looking into the era of no superstars.
Yeah.
And we want to kind of break down what that superstar era is, firstly. So off the rip,
Yes.
what is your version of, I guess, the superstar era in hip hop? At least from your
My
perspective.
version. Okay, so with me, right, I can definitely say growing up, my whole childhood, there was the guy or the guys who were viewed as, the pillars of popularity within the genre, whether it was like, a Lil Wayne, at some point it was like Ludacris even.
was.
So eventually we got to the definitive, like, big three era where we had, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole. So in terms of superstar, it connects to my least favorite conversation regarding music ever, which is numbers.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care about numbers. I don't care who the bigger artist is. I do not care about that. I care about the quality of the music. So I understand we're kind of in the era where people want to look at, first week numbers. What did this person do? How many followers does this person have?
Yeah.
That's none of our business as listeners, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, superstar, it's numbers based. Like, how many
Fair.
people are you putting in? How many listeners do you have?
Yeah.
But all in all, why are we here today? What are we discussing today? Like, we're discussing the death of that. So I'm kind of happy that with the post superstar era, but also obviously it's kind of bittersweet as well. But yeah, that's kind of my overview of, I guess, a superstar. It's purely numbers based. Well, maybe not numbers. Also, maybe it can be notoriety and things like that.
Yeah.
But maybe you can also just give us more insight into your viewpoint of a superstar, and yours, like what you thought it was growing up.
For sure. My idea was, I guess, the rap persona, the swag. The swag is very outdated now. I guess you get the aura, right? Aura.
Yeah,
Or you
that's what they
Gen
call
Z
it.
people out there.
He says as if he's not Gen Z.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm a little older, you feel me?
me too,
I'm
me
a little. But yeah, the man, one person I just think about is Tupac. I feel that he really showed what it means to be a superstar, in the sense of, aside from just raps and hip hop, his lifestyle was just so captivating, and his conviction of his life, like thug life, like you're gonna tell it on me, on my belly. It's got this whole movement.
Yeah.
That's actually what it is. A person who's able to have a movement. I think that's what a superstar defined it for me, that they're able to shift the culture and show an ideology that they run by, that the world can have as a war cry and be like, oh yeah, I mess with that guy. It's Thug Life. It's Thug Life. Was in West Coast. We're not really from the West Coast. We're from South Africa. You feel me? We're from Johannesburg.
We're not affiliated.
Yeah, don't gangs don't kill us.
Yeah.
I'm saying sign language.
We're not throwing up sign. We are not throwing up any sign.
I was being dumb, but yeah, movements. That's how I defined it. It wasn't really the numbers. Numbers, I think.
So you have an opposing view. Interesting.
Yeah, I have an opposing view because
the man sold like over 70 million records.
Yeah, and I can't dispute that. And he really did sell some. He sold. I mean, wasn't he like the highest selling artist in prison?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised because he had All Eyes on Me out.
True.
And Double Disc, which is one of the biggest things to ever come out of the genre. So.
And you're right. I guess you can't also dispute numbers because that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But I think for me as Nkandu, my perspective is a movement because I think movements define more than just numbers.
Yeah, true.
So it's like movements really showcase this guy has longevity and he has a lot of legacy in terms of his foot in the game, and you can't just, it's not a one hit wonder essentially. Like he can make multiple hits, but even not even having multiple hits, he can have low-key heaters which do exist in the culture, and it's like gospel. There's certain songs which don't have high numbers, but it's like that's that track. When you play that track, all hip-hop fans are like,
feel that.
man, that's that track, bro. And then the pop culture guys are like, what song are you talking about?
Yeah, you mean to say that for you a superstar is someone who has mainstream appeal but also feeds the underground? Is that what you're
Yeah, 100%. And we all know who that sounds like somebody. I mean, that sounds like Kendrick.
It sounds like Kendrick Lamar because
Yeah.
he can give us a swimming pools, but we can still go back to like a Rick Mortis
Yeah.
or like a Good Kid, the actual sort, the title track Good Kid. We can go to
Untitled
Real.
Unmastered. Yeah,
Yeah, true. I feel you, man. I feel you with that.
Yeah. So now on that like topic of I guess era of no superstars, right? So we've established what a superstar is. And now I guess we also of the same opinion that they know superstars now, right?
It's not that they know superstars. I think we're holding on to the superstars of the previous era. So they can't say they are no, but if you want me to lie to you and say, oh yeah, there's up and coming superstars, I just don't think so.
And you don't see it.
I don't know if it's needed either, but I think it's needed if you want to impress, the people who are interested in metrics. Like if you care about
Numbers people.
because that's the era we're in. But overall, I don't know if
That's the
you're in need of it, because I think that if you enjoy hip hop, you're always gonna find the artists who are doing justice to the craft.
That's true.
So just because they don't get mainstream notoriety doesn't necessarily mean that what they're doing isn't worthwhile.
And that's a good point because I feel like that ruins the dynamics of hip hop community and then pop culture. We're in a weird time where it's good and bad because, we got the pop guys giving the bandwagoners, quote unquote, right? Who come up and they try to push hip hop.
Yeah.
Which Drake did. But now it's weird because when you have legitimate hip hop game cards and now it's been devalued because of the pop people and they have some opinions like Drake's the GOAT. It's kind of like
It cheapens.
it cheapens
art form.
like the hip hop community and the things that we really love and where we grew up on, and it's like the art takes a backseat, especially now where a lot of it's just capitalism and the number games and what's the first week sales, and that defines how good an album is, and we kind of it's not fair, we out here giving like like so much trash to Joey Badass and Lonely at the Top,
Yeah. When it's actually a solid project, that doesn't make sense. I think that there's kind of this thing where the music lovers, like if you just love music, you love hip hop.
Yeah.
We need to just kind of ignore the actual like the numbers. Obviously, that's gonna come with things such as the underrated label kind of having to die.
Like indie.
Yeah, maybe, but for me, I think that there are too many great hip hop artists out right now that might not fit the
mold
of a superstar. Like I can't like tell you, JID, he's great, but he's not a super. He needs to make a hit. No, he doesn't. Like what he makes translates to people who actually enjoy that type of that music. So going back to Denzel Curry as well,
Yes.
he has hit songs, but like I'm not going to him for a hit song. I want a great album. I'm looking for great tracks as well.
Great storytelling.
Great storytelling.
A captivating story that immerses you in the experience.
Why not? See, exactly. So for us, we need to kind of realize that when was that ever, I guess, mainstream? When was that the thing that was appealing to mainstream? Like that type of thing, like where that compelling storytelling, experimental production.
Yes.
No hook sometimes.
Yeah.
Third verse sometimes. Going all the way up to a third verse. So, like for me, it's like maybe like back in the day those things were appealing, but
now,
I don't think it's as appealing.
No, there's a set formula and it's like everyone's just stuck to the codes and it's like don't try to mess up the codes. Don't mess up the bottom line. Like people are gonna get their money. Don't try to go overboard with the budgets, and I guess industry talk's another conversation. But for the most part, I think what Kendrick even said, like, I'll be the first to say, to all the execs, creatives are essentially done.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're in the art culture, but now it's like there's nothing holding that weight. We're just doing with numbers. We're not focused on their personal life and the story that we try to tell.
I don't like that. I really don't like that. I think that no matter what, the music needs to be at the forefront. The music has to be, it needs to speak for itself, standalone. Minus, the promo, minus the numbers. By itself, standalone, is it good?
Yeah.
And as music nerds, we need to make sure we're championing it if, it's good, if it's quality. Then that should be the thing that, we kind of push as the main feature of this artist or this album. Not that, oh man,
the numbers.
This person has 50 chains. This person has a McLaren.
Tater.
Exactly. Like, how's the music? How's the actual music? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna need to put that's the product you're giving the people. You shouldn't be selling them a lifestyle. You should be selling them the art.
Real,
Not even selling. Sometimes, like, some people have the belief that art isn't a product to be sold. It should be something that's there. It should just exist.
To express.
Yeah, it should be for the artist to get something off. So when you start adding a price tag onto it, and kind of devaluing it to that extent, no.
Yeah, it gets very murky and messy. You don't want that drama.
So that kind of makes me want to pose a question to you.
That's the question, sir.
So, for you, do you think that I already know your answer to this question? I just think I think it's good to just kind of throw it out there. Do you think that it's a worthy sacrifice to sacrifice the superstar for greater quality and greater diversity in terms of soundscape, subject matter, everything, just like diversity and opening the door for more people, even if they're not going to be the artist who's going diamond? Is it proper? Do you think that it's worth it to sacrifice the superstar for that?
I mean, look, I think that it's essential for the next part of the growth of hip hop, because I think it was getting to a stalemate where there wasn't any motion happening, and now the superstars are there and they're taking up all the capital and all the, I guess, the land, not, I guess, people's state of mind, like the peace of mind. And now having that sense of diversity gives that sense of growth, because it's like with the new comes in a new sense of expressing hip hop as the culture. So it's a really great look right now. And I think these things happen naturally. You don't have to manufacture these things. I think we've just had that superstar era for too long. Even in basketball, there was a time where now, that's like a crossover, because there's a marriage there with sports and hip hop. So that kind of chat is done. Paul Pierce and the Celtics, and then going to the big three in Miami. Then they said raps.
So you're comparing a superstar to a dynasty, essentially, where it's like, okay, let them move over. Let everybody kind of have a piece of the pie. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I feel like. That's why I feel like it's a global movement that's happening, and that's what I love about hip hop. I feel like the beauty in hip hop is that it talks about a global shift and movement of the consciousness. You know, not to get too spiritual, but
Yeah, it always ends up like this.
you know what I'm saying? Like what Kanye says, it's a zeitgeist, you know? It's a marker of the times telling you that these are like, you know, the griots being, you know, the poets who speak of the marker of the times. You know, these are like, let me think of a poet right now. Edgar Allan Poe, right? You know, they're just out there. These guys, I don't know. When I think of like English classes and I think of like, you know, those poets, you think of them as like, you know, Nostradamus, like they told you what exactly is going on in the future, what's about to happen. And what they say is like, that's gospel. Like, this is my time. In our era, you know, there are lots of hoes all over here. You know, we got so much money out here. You know, we out here just living in, you know, extravagance, you know. And then the next poet's like, no, we living in poverty. Like, it's bad here. We in the trenches, digging with our nails. And I feel like our rap artists are doing the same thing with the lyrics. They're not so different, you know.
So you think that they kind of offer a balanced, you know, together. Do you think that if taken as a whole, do you think that hip hop kind of offers a very balanced viewpoint, I guess, of the world, whether it's aspirational or actual observation of the real world? Because aspirational, you can say, is the guys who are rapping about the cars and the money and the jewelry, but the ones who are observational will be like the Lupe Fiascos, maybe,
For sure.
the Kendricks, the Colts.
And definitely, like, to your point, like, and it even goes back to what you're talking about, emerging talents in conjunction with the big three, the big three, the superstar era. That, you know, in tying that, like, those guys in the era that we're in give a sense of balance, that emerging talents can come in with their different perspectives and offer new ways of looking, not just at hip hop, but at life. Because like I was saying, they markers, right? So they give a different shift in perspective and actually say, you know, it's not all about the money. It's not all about it's the big three, you know, the women, the drugs, you know, the alcohol, the whole lifestyle. It's also about internal growth, self-development. And that's more of the music we're listening to now, where people are more conscious of themselves, and hip hop artists are nailing that right now. And they kind of saying, you know, I guess with the, who's the comedian? You on God's side or the other side? Cat Williams. Yeah, so he said it best.
I like your impression.
He is on God's side or the other side. Y'all catching hell in 2024. That like, that has continued to just echo, you know, in the times that we're in now, that, you know, people are catching hell in 2024. You know, we got the Diddy case that just happened, you know. Kanye is going off the rails and he's coming to Joburg, which I just learned today. It's crazy. Hope you guys don't get tickets.
I think I know why you don't want people to get tickets. You want them all for yourself.
Same thing for me. But, you know, it goes back to what you're saying about emerging talents, and that now it's leveling the playing field. Now, at least we're also getting African artists that are coming on the rise. You know, and also the underground isn't the underground like it used to be, you know? It's not the same, right?
It's not. Like, these people have genuine, like, followings. Like, even though, not to say that they weren't before, but now they're able to, like, monetize on an underground, like, on that underground following that they have.
Like a cult following.
Yeah, like Griselda. Griselda has a real cult following. Exactly. Like, if you look at what they've been able to do, like, kind of, I guess, blowing up the price of the vinyl, like, they really, because they kind of, I guess, made like their vinyls into high art. It's like, nah, these are collector's items and stuff. And these are not necessarily the biggest artists, but by the way that the hip hop community speaks about them, you'll think that they're like Michael Jackson. But that's because that's hip hop. Like, that's what you have to love about it, is that they're just a mainstay at this point, where it's like, oh, if you like the genre, you know them. You know Westside Guy, you know Benny the Butcher, you know Conway, you know Boldy James. These are, you know, Rome Streets now. Like, that Rome Streets album, incredible. Which one? Yeah, I forgot which one I was listening to. It's so good. Like, I've had it like on repeat. Yeah. Oh my God, Rome Streets is so he's
very tough emerging talents. You know, very
like
And also, I feel like the beauty about the emerging talents though is that I feel like you can personalize it to who you are, you know, and that there's no shame in who you are. You know, people are more open about themselves. Kanye opening that lane, which he did in a big way, and now, you know, you can't deny that much as he's done some shit. But like, there are other people who are inspired by just telling your truth, and that you don't have to always fit a specific mode. So now you got people like Tyler the Creator, Childish Gambino,
Chance the Rapper,
independent.
so
guy,
many people,
so many people,
who are in the outplay. Tierra Whack,
You know what I'm saying?
like you have to be Tierra Whack love as well.
Like even if you look at the vinyls, you got like Sampler the Great, TK Madza, people who like just said, I don't see anyone who is like me in the space, and I need an archetype of me there. I need that character there.
But the thing is, there's always going to be that person, in my opinion. I think there's always going to be somebody who you can kind of look at. Like for me, like the music I make, I obviously look towards like that flamboyant, that colorful, like I like the vibrancy in music. So I naturally like gravitate towards like a Missy Elliott, like
Tyler,
Busta Rhymes, Tyler the Creator, like Wagner PC and Pharrell, like TK Mine, all these people. Like there's always going to be that it's gourmet, let me say, for you. Like your whole playlist can be on things you like. There's literally hip hop music for people who like rock music.
Facts.
Like that's how diverse it is, right?
Yeah.
Like Peggy, even Denzel to like some extent as well. Like there's literally, it's always something there, and I think that's. I don't know if that's a direct link to the death of the superstar, but it's definitely a direct link to more niches and I guess subgenres within hip hop.
Can you actually elaborate on that? The link. I'm very curious about that. I like that you.
With me, the link purely goes back to what we were speaking about when we said space. More space, because right now it feels like with the only reason we have so many subgenres because of the ease that we're able to release music independently. You don't need a label. You can make music on your phone, you can make it on your laptop. So whatever subgenre of hip hop you can come up with, you can make. You don't need to fit in a box because you're trying to get signed. You can do what you want, and then you'll find your audience. That's like something I feel very, very deeply about. Is that there's no need to chase that label signing. No need to chase the audience of the biggest rappers. You need to create your own lane.
For sure.
And then people will gravitate towards
finding your tribe.
Because people will be able to sniff out something that's disingenuous. Like you can probably name a bunch of people who make music and then you listen, you're like, I don't believe you though. You're probably like, I don't believe you.
Pointing at you.
You can probably name people you know personally who are rapping about cars they don't have, jewelry they don't have. And like the thing is it can sound great, but you're like, it's kind of diluted.
It's sounding a bit like oppression to me.
People's diamonds look just like oppression to me. Come on. So
that's a malice line.
Exactly. That's the thing. So I think that with the death of a superstar, maybe there'll be more space. Maybe like people will not be so fixated on, hey, this person went #1. That means the music is good.
That means I have to co-sign him. I need to
exactly
to deal with him. So
that makes their music valuable. That's not the but what's your perspective on my main point that I just made regarding I guess the freeing up of space and the empowerment through independence, allowing for these subgenres and for these new niches to form?
I just love the fact that it breaks up the industry. Like it compartmentalizes it, breaks it up because it's been so much in people's grasp and they've just been holding it on for too long, strangling the creative, like that's literally what it's been, just putting that, wire around the neck and be like, sing for me, sing like a singing bird, like in a cage, and now it's, no, you're actually going to just do a distribution deal with me. And that's where it ends, and I'm just going to continue in my creative path. And that's why we're able to have such deep, in-depth, rich works, like Tyler the Creator's album, Chromacopia. And I guess Mr. Moran, the Big Steppers, So it's like you're able to even have that if it's a bit of health in the industry where there's a balance between creatives and the industry's preoccupations. And there has to be that, there's always that balance. You can never take the industry out the way as much as you're like, watch the party die, like burn these people. All you can really do, I guess, is to change the people in those systems who appreciate the arts and are not, out here burning people and, saying, making it feel like that's their work. And like, I have your whole catalog and there's nothing you can do about it. I have your masters. So, You know,
I feel that.
I want you to bark. I want you to like beg for me and get these things. And it's like, no, the fact that we're even doing this, you know, that is independence, and that's what you should be striving for. Like your art, as much as it maybe might not get you any money
Yeah.
in the moment, in the beginning, don't get it wrong, money is good, but it's really about putting your authentic self first. And I think that's what we're doing, you know.
So I actually have a question for you, right? Since I see we got some OGs up there. We have the Erykah Badu, we have the D'Angelo.
Of course.
So I just want to know, what do you think what is it about hip hop that makes us need a superstar? Because at the end of the day, it seems like the guys across the road at R&B, it seems like there's not really as much of a thirst for the superstar, you know.
Definitive
Exactly.
R&B guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because much as people do complain in R&B about like, hey, I miss when it was like this. I miss when we had groups.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like people are like, man, these guys aren't popular enough.
To push the needle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like there's way less of that.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, I just kind of want to know what makes hip hop so different in that regard? Is it the competitive aspect?
Yeah.
Is it the fact that it's the biggest genre in the world? Because even if you look at like R&B, you can also look at other like genres. Even in pop, it feels like they don't. There's not that yearning for a superstar. It seems like people just.
You're saying like now.
Oh, right now.
Right.
I feel like there's not that. Because keep in mind, you have huge R&B acts like, you know, a SZA, a Summer Walker.
Yeah.
But
yeah. That's not the same. It's not Michael Jackson.
because they're not saying they have a big three. Yeah, we have a big three. They're not really saying that. So what's your take on that?
If you ask me, I think it has to do, competitiveness is one aspect, but I think the arts, I mean, mind me, but I think the arts is more powerful in hip hop, if that makes sense. It's a hot take, very hot take.
Very, very hard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I really do think so, because it's been taught at schools, yes. Of course, other genres have been taught at schools, don't get me wrong. But this is it's literally literature. Like literature, like you reading, like when it comes with hip hop, it's the dynamics and how it operates, like the way those people go about doing their business is different from other genres. Like people are not crucifying you for your words. And I really feel like it's one genre where you can really embody freedom of expression, of speech to the greatest degree. You know, I mean, I know you can do that in rock and you can do that in other genres, but
All of them, yeah.
I feel like it's more on edge when it's with hip hop, because you poetically putting it in a way that also is clear to the audience. You know, imagine like, you know, Edgar Allan Poe saying something like kill all people, or like kill a very specific sort of people, and that there are people in our systems who control what's going on, and unless we kill them, we're not gonna go forward. You know, that would be whoa, like chill.
Shocker.
That's a shocker. So like hip hop is a very interesting blend in that it embraces authentic rawness. You know, and that's been the backbone of hip hop. So now if you kind of counter that in, and now if that's the foundation, of course people are gonna be like, whoa, that's why they try to ban it. And that's how I think what group was it? They were the first group to get a parental advisory sticker. Two Live Crew.
Two Live Crew.
Two Live Crew. It was Two Live Crew. Yeah. And they were the first people, from what I remember, I don't know how I remember this, but they're the first people to get a parental advisory sticker. Yeah. And that in itself is a microcosm. It's an embodiment of how raw hip hop is, that they're like, this is too much for us in white America. You don't want too much, like, you know, freedom, like
too real.
Freedom. You want freedom in a package.
Yeah.
You know, and
freedom like me.
it can be controlled. And I don't think that's why they don't do that with other genres. Rock to an extent, you know.
So for you, you're essentially saying that hip hop needs that superstar because it's a very impactful genre, and you need to know who is making the most impact. Yeah. Because you feel like the people who are making the most impact, not just in music, but in culture in general, that's the guy. You look to hip hop. Okay, yes. This is why we need a superstar. We need to know who's the head of this of this movement, essentially. This huge.
Exactly. And that's the word, the movement. Who is the head of this movement? That's why I said what a superstar is a movement. So Drake had also a movement from the Young Money days. And I guess this kind of gets to murky territory, especially for the Lil Wayne fans.
Yeah.
And what he embraced. He was a very flawless victory type rapper. He gave you everything, had the 10 hot summers easily.
Yeah, honestly.
Crazy mixtape run.
Craziest run ever.
Craziest run. No one can top that. Eminem even wishes he could be like, I mean, he even said it himself. He was like, I wish
Superstar.
I could be like Wayne for real, you know? And I just feel he had a movement which was the lifestyle of the three, I guess not the Holy Trinity, but the devil Trinity, the dark the dark Trinity. It's like women, weed, and drug, women, weed, and drugs. So Drake carried that on. He took the baton and made that movement as well. And then now you got Kendrick saying, no, we're not doing that. We're not gonna kill off our youth with that lifestyle in our raps.
So messaging.
It's in the mess there was a message. So Kendrick took that and actually, sorry, I'm just listening. I'm just hearing bars in my head. There's also a bar that No Malice said. He was like, there's a mess in every message.
Yes.
He kind of wrote it to me. But anyways, go I just needed to get that off. But Kendrick represents a different type of movement where it's about self-development. And my whole arcing point is just that hip hop is a very visceral art form.
It is.
And it's scary for a lot of people because I think it's not even the fact that it's brash and hard. It's because it's an accurate reflection of, in hip hop's case, America. Like what America has done to their people. They've literally weaponized their own people. Wow. And people are just, scared to look at their own mask. Hip hop is the literal reflection of society. Yeah. So I just say that to say that hip hop is a very visceral art form and it's very hard to ignore because it's in your face. And they're like, we have to make a change now, So that's why I say the superstar argument when it comes to hip hop is a bit different because it's a very, like you said, an impactful genre.
That's a very interesting hypothesis. That's damn near a theory, if I say, because you broke it down. You broke it down very well, I think. Like, wow. So now, I don't know, this whole conversation we've been having, are we coming to the conclusion that the superstar isn't actually needed because there's so many people who give you the messaging that you're speaking about now.
Yeah.
But they just won't necessarily be, in the mainstream. They won't be the guys in the adverts. They won't be the guys forming a big three. Yeah. But the messaging is still gonna be there. So do we need a superstar to be the face of the movement? Or is it about time that the super team dies, where, we don't need the Warriors with KD anymore.
Shout out Warriors.
We prefer, having parity in the league, like what we have now in the NBA. So I think that maybe that's for the better then. Yeah. So I understand you actually breaking down why hip hop wants this face to look at, like this person's the head. No matter what the subject matter is, there's going to be a reflection of hip hop. So if this person likes rapping about, drugs, guns, that's what moms are going to look at as,
that is hip hop.
So that's hip hop now. That's the biggest one. Yeah. So is that face needed? Is the big three needed? Is a definitive superstar needed? That's kind of like where I'm trying to come to. Because you presented a great argument, but for a particular type of hip hop artist. Yes. You presented an argument for the empowering hip hop artist.
Yes.
And you kind of said, ooh, that's who we should be championing, not
the other side stuff.
Yeah, not that. So you basically told me that the hip hop superstar is valuable if they're going to represent the culture well.
Yes, exactly that. If they represent the culture well, if the tenets, because at the end of look, I know people don't want to give Africa its credit, but even I guess Quincy Jones had spoken to this with Kendrick. There was an interview.
I saw that clip.
Yes.
You think about Africa and how rap originated
from South Africa or Southern Africa, if you want to put it that way. But that the original tenets, from what I understand, in my perspective of hip hop, is expressing your story, expressing. It's about your voice of the people. Vocalizing what is for the people. I don't think that's what's happening right now in this period, especially with the superstar era and what was popular at the time with the era, you know, with Drake being the full front of that and what he represented, the movement he represented wasn't the voice of the people. It was what give the people what they want, not what they need. And what is the voice of the people is what they need, not what they want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
You hear what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like very clear cut. So I feel right now in this era we don't need a superstar, at least for now. But in my own belief, I think this is just a movement of the times, a tidal wave of the times. You know, it's a pendulum swinging. So this era right now, superstars are dead, but we'll come back to revisit the same conversation, and superstars will be in again, because there's like a building and a breaking that needs to happen. So right now, this is a breaking. It's a breaking away of an old structure, which is the superstar guys who occupied so much real estate in people's minds. Now we're gonna go into diversity. We're gonna go into different pockets. Oh, I didn't know that guy existed. Let me pick his music. Cool. Then there's gonna be a settling period, and then there's gonna be prominent people who reflect exactly what that movement is. You know, because I mean, like there's so many poets, but they're finding poets who have made, you know, certain narratives which becomes a zeitgeist or becomes a marker of the time. Like, you know, the 20th century was a time probably of like advancements, you know, new technologies coming in. And now they're trying to understand who can give us a nice clear cut picture of what was going on. Not like the definitive one, but like what's going on, you know, and they look to three guys and be like, yeah, that guy. I like that guy. I like what he says. I feel like he speaks for everyone.
Yeah.
You know? So they go on.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So for me, I feel like right now we're in the era of personal superstars. So what is your niche, and that person is a superstar to you. So if you, for example, if you enjoy street, you know, balanced street rap where they tell you about the drug dealing, but they also tell you about the hard side about that, you enjoy Clips, Pusha T, Freddie Gibbs, you know, Rome Streets, those guys, those are the guys that, Stove Guard. So those are people that you can gravitate towards. But if you are like just, you know, you want to feel empowered, you want to feel uplifted, and not empowered in the material sense, but say you want to be empowered, you know, morally or spiritually, you probably will gravitate to a Kendrick Lamar. But also, obviously, there are other ones that you can who are not from the not necessarily from the 2010s. There's guys like
Navy Blue.
Blue.
Definitely say Navy Blue. That's my favorite artist.
McKinley Dixon. There's so many guys that you can actually go to for that direction. Obviously previous era, but still, I think Navy Blue is another. That's a very great one. Red Veil, obviously. Maxo, the guys who actually, I guess, kind of, they're not like one subject people. They'll empower you in multiple ways, whether it is you know, you're looking for like black empowerment, whether you're looking for music about where they rap about women, but it's not in the typical sense. It's more like, you know, they're from the tree branch of Common and the De La Souls and the Tribe Called Quest, where it's you know, a bit more empowering. So like that type of music.
But I want to
those are your superstars. So I'm saying it's going to be it's going to be very, very, very personalized at this point. They don't need to be superstars at the sense of commercial appeal, making the most money. I just believe that you know, we're going to be in an era of, you know, wanting something that might not even be commercially appealing. It's still going to be very appealing to you. You'll put your money behind it. You'll listen to it all day. This is the biggest artist in the world to you. It doesn't have to be something that's co-signed by the whole world, but you know it's good.
So would you say that's like that's the movement of it, right?
That's what I think is happening right now. I think JID is a superstar, but it doesn't need to be a superstar in the sense of him being the biggest artist. Denzel Curry is a superstar. He is one of the, but it's to a particular group of people, and that's okay.
So niche of people.
Yes, that's okay.
So like A. Reese as well. He's a superstar in his people.
100%. Why would his music not be worthwhile just because it's not doesn't get a billion streams.
Like an AKA or like a cast or something.
You know, it's worthwhile either way. That's what people need to realize. And these are people who are going to have like career longevity.
Yeah. And get paid every day because they know that people are listening and they, you know, that's them in a way. Like they represent who they are. Because a lot of the music you listen to is who you are essentially.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so personal. Yeah.
It's a great point to close on, honestly. But you have something else?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask. So, what is your? I want to say this is a split screen predictive take. You know, since we're on opposite sides, and this is our podcast, the show. So my question to you is, what is your predictive, take of, let's say, 10 years from now, where hip hop will go in terms of the era of superstars and personal superstars, as you said.
Yeah.
Like, where do you think that goes going forward? I mean, does it stay the same or?
No, I think that more and more artists are going to make the music that they like to make. So it's not going to be widely commercially appealing, but it's going to be commercially appealing to a very large group of people.
Yeah.
Those artists are going to be able to eat. You're going to be able to do shows. You're going to be able to travel globally. But I don't see the superstar being in the way that we know it as.
Okay.
Where this person is the face of an entire genre.
Yeah.
I just don't see that necessarily happen.
Like coming back of Michael Jackson.
No, I don't see it. Not in the next 10 years, because for me, it feels like it was kind of a perfect storm for the three guys who had it in this era. They were able to have the mentorship from like some of the greats. They were able to be on these labels. They're able to soak up game from these people.
Yeah.
And they actually understood that lots of them understood how to make a personal hit.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is a hit, but it doesn't necessarily sound like everything else.
Yeah.
So they dictated the sound. They didn't follow it. So I think that now the sound is going to be in a space where a lot of us are very weird.
Yes.
So it's not going to be the most commercially appealing. Pop music will continue to be pop music.
Yeah.
Hip hop will continue to be popular music.
Yes.
But it's not going to be a thing of where hip hop artists are going to be chasing an established sound and then they get big. I think that these artists are they're going to have their niches and they're going to get big within their niches. And if other people come along, they'll become huge artists.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be in the same way that we know it today.
And also, like, there are more deals that are being done in the background too, sponsorships and all these other things. So it's not the only way you're eating off streams. I mean, if that's the only way you're eating, damn.
So just to kind of give you the short version, I think that the superstar is the way that we know it. It's dead. It's 100% dead. I don't think that hip hop is going to be manufacturing them as big as some of these past guys, but that's not because there's something wrong with these artists. Definitely not. These artists are great. Like, these artists are making incredible hip hop music. But the thing is, I'd never see people looking at pop artists today and being like, man, they just accomplished this huge thing. Too bad they're not Michael Jackson. It's like, what? We just got our Michael Jacksons in hip hop.
For real.
We just got ours. We just got our Michael Jacksons now for this 40-year-old genre, 40-something-year-old genre. We just got ours. So, like, there will be a period where you're gonna have huge artists, but that doesn't mean they're gonna be as big as Mike. That's just not gonna happen.
That's true.
So that's my outlook. It's not a bad thing that the hip hop artist is not going to be as big as the Kendrick Drakes, the Parks, the J. Coles, the Biggies, the Ludas, the Outkast. It's fine because those are guys who kind of built the foundation for for what we have now with the big three.
Okay.
And if the big three has been able to create all these different or assist in creating so many different niches, isn't that them paying it forward now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because the era before them allowed them to become mega stars, but now they say, okay, this is them paying it forward, where you get to have all these niches. You guys, we blew up this genre to super mainstream. Now here you go. You can have your niches. You can play your shows. You can sell your records, but you don't have to be like us. You don't have to be the mega star.
Yeah.
So that's my outlook. I think that.
Damn.
The superstar is 100% dead in the way that we know it.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
I like that.
But it's okay.
I don't know. I kind of differ. I hear what you're saying because you know, and I respect it. You know, but like I don't know. I feel there's like a pendulum that's swinging, and maybe my perspective is more so like it's a newer version of this thing. You know, so in the sense of like the superstar thing won't be the way we see it now, as you said, right? So there will be a superstar, but in this sense, okay, here's my prediction. Here's my predictive take. There will be a superstar in the future, in like say 10 years or 15 years from now. I don't know. It could be Kendrick. I don't know. Somebody who is going to be a uniting force of all these genres. Not the fact that they have a part to play in all these different parts, like they're able to like have all these different parts, but that they represent hip hop and they bring it back to its roots. Like they're coming back of like, we're going back to where we came from, you know, like we're now done with the party thing. No, we're not up to the wall, all that stuff. But more it's like unified, like, okay, Africa has its own voices, narratives. Y'all can come through and, you know, we trying to make this thing come back again of like lyricism. So like I just don't see a situation where it's like multiple faces and then there's just not that one guy that you like, that guy. But that guy though. Examples like let's say basketball, right?
Yeah.
LeBron James is pretty much done, right? It's still going hard, right? Kind of the face. I wouldn't say that, but
He's the face.
He's the
It
face,
doesn't
right?
matter. Like you can drop 10 points. Okay, he's gonna be the face.
right. And then there's Victor Wembanyama. You know,
Prime.
he's like his potential is up there in
Outside
terms of
of face.
being a face, right? Or Luca. So it could be either or, one of those two. But meaning that there is some prominence of interest that they occupy. Like there's someone there who can stand and be like, this, you know, this is me. Like, come with me and I'll show you guys the path. Because there's been so much disunity. As much as there's diversity, there's been disunity in the sense of like, even like, this also correlates with the social media era, where there's like an echo chamber. People have their own personalized experiences with music. And it's like, either you like my music or you don't, you know, you can be a weirdo and it's cool. But then there comes a point where you kind of step out of just your own interest and it's like, what is the movement of the time? And I feel like this time is getting to a point of unity where it's like getting back to the roots, getting back to why this started the way it did and we kind of lost our way. So that's kind of my own take.
So in 10 years,
Yeah.
you're predicting the Avatar Aang is gonna come back.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a definitive voice.
Who's an airbender, who's a earthbender, who's a firebender,
Okay.
who's a waterbender.
That's
All
very,
four.
very interesting.
Unify. Yeah.
So for you, so your conclusion is that Superstar is not dead. It's just on standby for now. He'll be back. Is that he or
It's a
she?
phoenix. It's in its phoenix stage. It's burning out just to come back new. Let me say that. We haven't seen the last. It's almost like that villain. You've never seen the last of me.
Yeah.
Now it's, you know,
Hey.
the superstar era is coming back
Interesting.
in a new way.
So that's a very interesting take. You know, that's one I'm gonna actually have to sit with for a while.
Because I was sitting with yours and
Yeah.
and I like that you kind of have your part where.
Because for me, it's like you never know. Like at the end of the day, it's predictive. We're
Yes,
speaking
we don't
predictive.
know. I'm not much.
We can never. Yeah, neither of us are.
Negro
But Paul Mooney. Yeah.
I guess maybe we can give it back to the audience. So,
Give it right back. Yeah. Pose that question.
thing. Do you think
Is the superstar dead?
Is it dead? You know,
Is it on standby?
is it Avatar? You know?
Yeah. Let us know, please. So before we sign out, Gandu, give us some song recommendations from, you know, the current landscape within this diverse landscape. Give us some song recommendations, name the artist,
Yeah.
and tell us who these, you know, new age, maybe not superstars, but
Yeah.
people who have things that are worthwhile to say, have beautiful vibrations. Please tell us. Give us some song recommendations.
I got you. Navy Blue for sure, guys. You have to peep here.
Some songs.
Yeah, there's some beautiful. Some songs. Falling in Love.
100%. I was about to say that.
Fall in love.
Beautiful track.
Of that tape. I think he's
The one we-
parents had
yeah.
passed away. What's the name of that tape? That is.
About the name, but I know this is a portrait of him as a kid.
I can paint you guys the picture. So it's like it's him and his grandfather, and the background is white.
Yeah.
And it's him when he's younger.
Yeah.
A very good tape. And believe who did the production? It was my guy. Forget his name now. Budgie. So look at Budgie, look at Navy Blue. You can't go wrong. Okay, so that's one. And then the second one, I need to say this for my Zambian sister, is Sampa the Great, The Return. Please. Please. Whole album. Top to bottom, guys. Top to bottom. Even got the vinyl there. You guys might see it in the promo.
Yes.
Please, I beg you, if there's any other new sounds you want to hear, listen to her. I honestly think she's probably one of the best in Africa, in my opinion. You know, she's really, really good. Yeah. So The Return, you're going to hear new languages, Bemba, which is one of my languages. So please, go into it.
Yeah.
That's me.
From me, I would definitely recommend that you check out Red Veil. He has a song called Whatever. Beautiful.
Beyond on that.
100%. Also, has a great song if you're into like that radical music. Listen to Black Enough with JPEG Mafia. Red Veil and JPEG Mafia. Insane. Banger.
Yes, sir.
Very beautiful. Yeah. So I would also have to recommend TK Maiza, my Zimbabwe sister. Yes. Definitely. I've got so many great tracks from her. Yeah. You know, we get Grasshopper. Listen to that one. Yeah. Listen to Flexin' with Duckworth. Yeah. Incredible track. Yeah. So many great tracks you can get from Miss Maiza. Yeah. Let me give you one more. I would say check out Detage. There's a song called Janice. That one blew up some time ago. Beautiful if you love synth work, chords, keys. Check him out. Definitely Detage, Janice. So yeah, those are three artists that I think are gonna carry us through the era of no superstars. Obviously, we're not opposed to them becoming superstars, but you know, definitely. So
for sure, my dog.
That's everything. Thank you. Thanks for the episode, and catch you next time between the lines, ladies and gentlemen.